Hey guys, it's Kelsey. So we're doing a little bit of a different format. I have decided that I want to take you guys on a little journey with me. And in order to do that, I think maybe vlogging is the way to go. So I'm sort of new at this, so cut me a little bit of slack. I've been struggling, you guys. I have been injured off my feet since January. I have a myriad of problems that sort of came about from being morbidly obese for so long. I work very long hours on marble floors, most of the time in heels, and I have really injured myself. I have micro tears in 3 of my major tendons in my left leg, as well as there's some scar tissue from previous injuries. I have plantar fasciitis, and I have malformation of the muscle groups around those tendons, and I have the sheath that has disintegrated around them. So it's an incredibly painful, terrible injury. And the worst part is it's not something that just heals. You have to both likely require surgery, which I don't know if I need yet, but also it's an extensive rehabilitation. So right now I'm in a cast. It's a weight-bearing cast, which is different from a walking cast. I learned as I can't really walk around that much without my cam boot on, but I can stand up. So why am I telling you all this? I have been sort of at a war of my weight for as long as I can remember. I can vividly remember the day that I realized I was overweight compared to my classmates in school. I didn't really get teased about my weight that much. I didn't care about it, to be honest with you. You know, and I've said this in previous videos, until I finally had a really traumatic miscarriage that really opened my eyes to what I was doing to my body and my health and everything else. So long story short, I had weight loss surgery. I lost 256 pounds. I maintained for 4 years. I decided to have a baby. I regained 100 pounds with my pregnancy. I fiddled around there for about 3 years with that gain, and I finally went back to basics. I lost my regain. I felt great. Everything was wonderful. And then I got injured. And this injury has not only been like a physical injury, but it's mentally been extremely difficult for me as well. Not only am I not at work, but I can't really leave my house. And for anyone who knows me, I'm a very social creature. So being kind of stuck, cooped up in the house has been difficult. And I won't say that I've turned to food to cope, but I will say that I had let my diet become more relaxed in the last probably year and a half or so. I was just so active. I mean, I walked over 20,000 steps a day, commuting back and forth in New York City on the subway, at my actual job, up and down stairs. My weight and my body was sort of kept in check by that. I mean, I still, I didn't dive headfirst into cake or chips or anything like that, but I've definitely been a little more relaxed. And that's resulted in a 15 to 25 pound weight gain. Why is there a discrepancy? Because yesterday it was 10 pounds less than it is today. And I know I don't gain 10 pounds overnight. That's why I'm not really stressing about the number. It's more so stressing about the way that my body feels. I feel heavy and everything. I feel that restriction on my body again. And I don't like it. And so I went back to what I knew worked, right? I went back to basics, back to what I knew. I literally have my protein coffee right here, right now, and I'm gonna have a sip. It's just so freaking good. Anyway, I struggled this time. Last time I was 100% in and on. Everything was firing. I was dedicated, motivated, completely disciplined. And this time I felt like I wanted to do that, but for some reason I just couldn't wrap my head around it. And I don't know if it was a physical manifestation of that or if it was real or not, but I was having headaches. I was sick all the time. There were a few weeks I didn't film any videos because I was literally just too like fatigued and tired and sick and in pain to do it. And that just, it sucked, right? Like it just sucks. So, you know, I've been doing so much research on the internet. My boyfriend is going through a similar thing right now. He wants to be more fit and sort of focus on his health. So he's been doing a ton of research and sharing with me what he's found. And, you know, we've tried a couple of different things lately, some of which have been great, some of which have not been great. We went vegan for 3 months. I loved it. I will definitely go vegan again. Right now my doctor's advised against it. He says I need the additional proteins that come from meat to help heal my leg. And right now that is my main priority. I need this to be healed because I feel terrible and crappy and I hate being so like immobile. But that being said, we tried all these different things and there just was like nothing was sticking. Like I went back to what I knew worked and I didn't lose a pound. I didn't lose an inch. I didn't even feel better. So, you know, after some more digging and, you know, talking to this person I have in my life, I realized that I likely have metabolic fatigue. And so what is that? And so I researched that. I'm like, is that a real thing? Because that sounds like something my fat brain would have been telling me before. Like, no, you have to eat more because your metabolism is slowing down. But it's a real, actual thing. So because I had been eating around 700 to 1,000 calories for the last like 3 years, my body doesn't want to give up weight for those amount of calories. It wants me to drop drastically lower, and to do so would be unhealthy. So my metabolism has basically slowed down because it doesn't know what the hell is going on right now. And over a prolonged period of time, that fatigue will probably let up. But in the meantime, I just feel crappy. So long story short, I found a coach. And I have been very vocal in the past about hating this program that I'm about to tell you guys about. And the reason being is because I don't believe in fad diets. I don't believe that fad, you know, things work. And yeah, they say they have science behind them, but they're not long-term diets. Like I don't want to go on a diet for 3 months and lose weight and then try to figure out how the hell to live my real life. You know what I mean? And my back to basics diet from bariatric eating works. Like it has worked for thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. But what I'm finding is I couldn't live on it. Even though I thought I could, I can't make that work for the long term. So whereas it will help me drop the weight, but then I go back to this stage where I'm in now where I don't really know what to do. I had an injury, I've had a small gain. Like what do you do, right? So I found this coach and we were, you know, chatting about like different things, and she was finally like, listen, this is not a diet. It's a mindset and it's a way of living, and it's literally going to change the way that you look at food, the way you look at eating, the way you look at meal planning, the way you look at basically anything to do with nutrition. And I was like I've sort of been around the block a few times. I'm like, no. So she's like, listen, this sounds insane, but trust me. And I trust her. I trust her with my life. So I'm like, all right, like, let's hear it. And it's the Beachbody 2B mindset. So at first I was like, Beachbody, nope. Sounds like a MLM, not interested. And because this coach is someone that I do trust, I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna give it my full focus for a little bit and check it out. And it was like after the first 30-second video, I was like, holy shit, this is what I need. And so I didn't jump out and buy Shakeology, and here I am having a Shakeology in my coffee. I'm still having my Inspire in my coffee because I'm not willing to give up my Inspire ever. So that's non-negotiable, right? But this mindset talks about literally changing the way you look at structuring your day as far as nutrition goes. And it said so many things that made so much sense, you guys, like so much sense. Like, you know, the 4 pillars of the 2B mindset, and they're like 2 bunnies, that's how she does it, like the little bunny ears, is water first. I'm on board with that. Already on board with that. Already drinking a ton of water. If you can see the background of my house right now, we have like so much water around, just, you know, water bottles, the water cooler, whatever. The second step is veggies most. And I'm like, but veggies have a lot of carbs and blah, 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 blah. But it's like, the reason why it makes sense is because there's no count. Okay, so let me go through it. Water first, veggies most. Use the scale, track your food. So these are like the 4 pillars. And I was a little bit afraid, I'm gonna be honest with you, about veggies most and use the scale. Because I'm like, the scale has never really been my friend. Well, this is the thing. In any diet or anything you want to do seriously, there has to be like a way to track accountability, right? Because if you're just saying you're going to do something but you have no goals, or you have no benchmarks, or you have no finish line, it's like, what are you doing? Like, you have no way of telling if what you're doing is working or if it's worth it or anything, right? So the scale is your accountability partner. You weigh it every day, and you can see. Got an Amber Alert. Gotta watch out for the kids, guys. So after a week of, you know, tracking, and you can see if your weight's gone up or down, and you'll be able to see because you've written down literally everything you ate, and you'll be able to see if maybe you made poor choices or good choices or whatever, or what's working. The veggies most thing was scary too, because I was like, well, there's a lot of veggies that are high in carbs, like potato is a vegetable, but it talks about like the vegetables, you know, like starchy vegetables are ones you should avoid, which I know, right? But nobody gets morbidly obese off broccoli or celery or cucumbers. Like, it just doesn't happen, right? So the more vegetables you eat, the fuller you feel, and there's no restriction. I can have a giant plate of steamed vegetables if I want, right? And it's like that feeling of not having to weigh my food, or not having to feel or worry that I'm gonna be hungry after I eat. You know, these are things that unfortunately as morbidly obese people that we thought about day to day before, right? And I'm almost 11 years out of surgery, and I still think about those things. I still order a larger portion than I even know I can eat because I'm worried that I'm gonna be hungry still. And that's like a shitty way to live. So there's that, right? And then you track everything, and they make it clear, like, if you're gonna eat a piece of cake or some tortillas or whatever, write it down. And the writing it down is like your accountability to yourself. Like, you're making the choice to eat this, and that's what happens, right? Like, so many times we say, oh, well, I have this disease, or I have this you know, medical diagnosis, or, you know, my family was pressuring me or whatever. But it's when you have to write it down, you have to take responsibility for it. And I think that is key, especially for those of us who struggle with fat brain, because like, I can justify anything, but when I look back in a week and see Pringles or whatever it was I ate, I'm gonna be like, that was a shitty choice. Like, there's no denying the shitty choices at that point, right? So yeah, so I'm trying it. My coach is really pretty amazing, and I don't know if this is what Beachbody is like, but if it is, I see why it got so big, because she checks in with me every morning. She sends me these encouraging emails. She helped me go through the program, because you sign up for the mindset thing and you can order shakes or not, which I opted not to because clearly I already have protein that I love. And there's also this like streaming like workout service, which I'm like, no, that sounds weird and stupid. But they have like literally everything. Like, I've really been wanting to take yoga, but again, I can't walk, and there's no yoga studios in my neighborhood. So I can now have like world-class yoga like right in front of me anytime I want, 24/7. I can do P90X, which I've always kind of wanted to say, like, yeah, I did P90X. I did do half of it when I lived in Japan, but that's, you know, 7 years ago. So there's lots of like really like cool little things. Like if you're into dancing, they have some dance ones. Like I think there's like hundreds of different workout things you can do, and you can do it anytime you want, which is so cool. And then you can reach out to any of the trainers for, you know, help or whatever, because I told my coach, I was like, listen, I have a, you know, like I'm in a cast, I can't really move around that much, like what can I do? So they were able to like tailor workouts for me, and the cool thing is that's just an extra, right? Like I don't have to work out for this diet to work. The coolest thing about this diet, and what I was talking to my coach about a few minutes ago, was I finally have freedom from food, meaning I don't have to obsess about what I'm eating. I don't have to measure it, I don't have to weigh it, I don't have to do any of that shit. I just have to make good decisions, and there's a ton of videos to help you to make good decisions, and then write it down and eat it. It's like, where has this been all my life? Like, why didn't I think of this? Why did it take for me to be almost 37 years old and struggling with my weight my entire life for me to get it that I can't live on a diet, I need to live a lifestyle, and my lifestyle needs to revolve around this. And see, this is the thing. This is like the secret that I think naturally thin people or in shape people already know, right? Like I think they already live like this and don't think anything of it. And those of us who are morbidly obese or struggle with our weight, for some reason we didn't get that memo. And so we struggle with all this crap and all this food that we don't need and all this other garbage. And, you know, the naturally thin person is like, well, I eat mostly vegetables already. Like, what do you mean? Like, this isn't groundbreaking. This is like my life. So it's been, I think, 4 days or 5 days on it. I haven't seen a lot of weight loss, but I have felt incredible like mental clarity and mental focus, and I feel good about this, you guys, and I feel excited, I feel powered up, like I feel like this is it, like this is what I need to have a successful life. Does that mean that everything I've done before is like crap? No. Like, back to basics for weight loss surgery patients, especially if you have a large weight gain to lose, especially if you're new, fresh out of surgery, like you need to follow those basic rules. But I'm 11 years out and I need to live my life. And living my life doesn't include, you know, cakes and chocolate and cookies and all that crap, right? But it does need to be a sustainable thing. It does need to be flexible enough that I don't have to freak out about when I travel, like what am I gonna eat? Or, you know, stress myself out so much about how much food weighs, or if I'm done eating my dinner and I'm still hungry, like what do I do? It's like these like mental things that just, you know, there was this TED Talk, I'm getting off on a tangent, guys, I'm sorry. There's this TED Talk about having enough willpower, and your willpower is like a bucket, and every time you have to like make a decision, it depletes a little bit of your bucket. I don't want to deplete my bucket on shit like French fries, or whether or not I should have more roasted zucchini, or if it fits into the numbers and doing all this math. Like, my bucket needs to be reserved for real good, like brain building stuff, not stress inducing like food choices. Like, that's crazy. So one of the biggest things I hear after weight loss surgery for a lot of people is like, I didn't have weight loss surgery to be on a diet. Well, I didn't either, but I don't see this as a diet. This isn't a diet. This is changing your mindset so that you don't have to be on a diet. How's that for powerful? So you don't have to be on a diet and you can still lose weight. You guys. So stay tuned. I'm gonna vlog probably twice a week. about this to be mindset. Disclaimer, I don't work for the company. I'm not selling it. I don't get any commission. If you want to know more, reach out, Google it. If you want to reach out to my coach, I can get you her information. She's incredible. And let's do this. If you want to do it with me, leave me a comment down below and let me know, because I always love having, you know, a team doing stuff. I'm a social Gemini and I love to be around people and to interact with people. So let me know what you think. I'm excited. I'm really excited. The next video I'm gonna do is goal setting. I'm gonna show you guys how I'm gonna break down and set my goals, and we'll go from there. So here's to food freedom. Love you guys.